All right, good morning, everyone. It is 7 a.m. on this finally Friday. We made it through another week, and we're kind of ending the week on a sweet note. We've got our Cookies for a Cause fundraiser that is happening right outside at Compassion Corner. And of course, this is a fundraiser that we started a couple of years ago, and it's going on all day from really until 6 p.m. This is an opportunity for you to come on by and buy a box or two, or maybe a couple dozen. It depends on what you want. And it all, of course, is going to help the Girl Scouts, our local Girl Scouts in Kern County. These are, the Girl Scouts, they have programs that go throughout the year, and a fundraiser like today helps those programs go on for all of our Girl Scouts. Kevin Charette is at Compassion Corner talking about what to expect. And Kev, what I love about this drive that we have is it is happening all day. I mean, they're going to be out there until 6 p.m. tonight trying to get people to buy some Girl Scout cookies. So you literally have like 11 hours left to swing on by and grab a couple boxes.
Yeah, and people have been coming by already this morning and picking up their box of cookies. And we were talking to Millie earlier about what it means to her. And the girls have been busy all morning. They're getting ready to go to school right now before the next troop actually arrives. But, you know, every type of cookie you can imagine you will find right here at Compassion Corner. What I love about it is that they're learning skills. They are actually going up to the cars and they are making the sale with a little bit of guidance, but they're learning important skills for when they grow up and go into the real world, as I would say, because right now they're fairly young. But let's walk over here and talk about all of these cookies and look at the table. I know these tables look familiar. We see them outside the different supermarkets and gas stations as well. So when I look at this table, people ask me, what is my favorite? Well, of course, they are the Caramel Delights. These are my favorite. I can eat a whole package at one time. I have to watch myself. Now, the other day, I got excited because on my counter, I actually had the peanut butter patties, and I thought, I'm just going to have one. And then it turned into two, and then three, and then a whole row. And then I had to put them down. So I'm going to have to stock back up today. But again, very exciting to see all of our Girl Scouts out here today. And I've got a Girl Scout right here. I haven't even really went over and talked to her yet, but what is your name?
Malia.
Malia. And you've been out here since the crack of dawn when I showed up at 5 a.m. What's it like for you to be a Girl Scout?
It's exciting at times, but sometimes when I have to get up this early, it's very exhausting.
That's fine. I totally get it. When you talk about Girl Scouts, what are some of the things that you get to do with the Girl Scouts?
Well, at meetings we get to make things, we get to learn new skills in life, and then I get to talk to my friends when the meetings are over.
And what's your favorite cookie? When I look at all these cookies on the table, what's your favorite?
Adventurefuls and the Caramel Delights.
Oh, so you're a Caramel Delight fan too?
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much, and you're doing a great thing out here. And again, you have lots of time to come on out and grab your Girl Scout cookies. But again, what I love is the fact that all the money stays right here locally for our Girl Scouts in our community. And again, we've got a drive-through set up. You don't even have to get out of your car. A lot of folks have been just coming through, grabbing that a box, and then they're on your way. And I think I have Heather out here as well. Heather, come on over. Come on over, Heather. I'm going to talk to Heather for a second here. She's been out here all morning as well. And Heather, when we talk about programs with the Girl Scouts, talk a little about the programs that you guys kind of offer for these girls.
Yeah, so we have 5 pillars of programming. Entrepreneurship, which is our cookie program, STEM, outdoor, leadership, and life skills.
And they get to learn all of this through different programs. So it's important to get the money that's generated through these cookie sales, because the money we raise through these cookie sales right now really helps you throughout the year.
Yes, and it all stays local. So the council helps put on programming to support the troop leaders as they're new and they're kind of getting their footing. And then the troops also hold their own programming with support with curriculum that GSUSA produces.
Now, I've heard that Kern County, Bakersfield is always a huge supporter for you guys. In fact, I heard that there was a competition sometime back between Fresno and Bakersfield. Yes. And while we all know sometimes Bakersfield, you live in Bakersfield. Hey, Bakersfield beat out Fresno, right?
Yes, Kern County people always show up for our Girl Scouts. So we're always so appreciative. And all of our friends in the north, like, when can we do this? So we tried it out, and we doubled our sales compared to theirs.
Well, we're hoping, and if you look over here, we've got pallets of cookies over there. Our goal is today, by the time this is all said and done at 6 o'clock, that those pallets will be cleared out. And when they do the total, it'll bring tears to their eyes of the money that they were able to raise with this event today. Because really, it goes to all of those programs. It's not cheap these days to put on programs. These girls get to go on camping trips, and that's not cheap either. So without the community's support, nonprofits like the Girl Scouts, they just wouldn't be able to operate. So it takes the entire community to make this a success. And so that's why we're doing it all day long. Not just a small window, but we're doing it all day long until 6 o'clock tonight. So I really hope everybody will find it in their hearts to come on out and be a part and support the Girl Scouts. And Alex, I have to ask you what your favorite cookie is. I know earlier, I think you said the Thin Mints.
Yeah, so the Caramel Delights are my favorite, right? Like, I don't think you can beat the Caramel Delights. But the Thin Mints,
right?
Like, the Thin Mints are so good after you pull them out of the freezer. Like, so good. I can actually, like, let them go if they're just, like, on... I mean, they're good, not frozen, but when they're frozen, it is quite delightful. And you know what I also like is there's a lot...
Well, the other thing about...
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say the other thing that is so good about Girl Scouts is so many people are starting to use cookies in different types of recipes.
Yeah.
Sweet Surrender, I was there a couple of weeks ago. They actually have a Thin Mint cake that they've developed. So people are getting very creative when it comes to Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I think is cool is that there are some, like, where was that? Would you say Sweet Surrender?
Sweet Surrender had a Thin Mint cake, that they have.
Yeah, so I know that Blue Oak, they sometimes will do some of because they have different pastries every day, and they'll do like Thin Mint scones, Caramel Delight scones sometimes. So it's just kind of neat to see our local bakeries support our local Girl Scouts, but then use those treats in their own treats. And Dewar's, I mean, you can't forget, Dewar's they do Girl Scout flavored ice cream.
Okay, and I've done that at home. I've taken the Thin Mint cookies and I've put them in a food processor, ground them up, made ice cream, put the cookies in with the ice cream, and made a Thin Mint chocolate ice cream as well. So many ways that you can take the Girl Scout cookies and incorporate them into a recipe. So that's why everybody needs to just come down and grab a box of their own and get creative.
We'll be out there until 6 p.m. tonight. All right, Kev. Appreciate it. Hey, be careful, though, because once you get going on a box of cookies, it is difficult to stop. So don't get a
Well, that's what happened yesterday as I was doing chores around the house, and I opened a box of peanut butter, and next thing I know, I had the whole sleeve gone. I said, I better hold off.
Self-control. Remember self-control. No, I'm right there with you because I've done that before where, like, all of a sudden you look down and you've lost a sleeve of cookies to your stomach. All right, Kev. Appreciate it. All right, we are talking about a musical that is going to be debuting tonight at the Phil Brandt, formerly known as the Stars Theater. And we've got a few of the cast members for Once on This Island joining me this morning on set to talk more about this upcoming musical. We've got Kaden, we've got Isabella, and we've got Marissa. They are part of the cast. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah.
All right, so how do you guys feel about opening night tonight?
I feel excited to finally open. I feel like it's been very anticipated. All this work has been it's hard, I'm not gonna lie, especially Tech Week. It's not always easy. It kind of almost feels like, oh my gosh, we don't have a show, but theater magic, everyone, it works. It really does, because we have a show.
Okay, so Kaden and Marissa, they were actually in Hairspray with me back in December. Yeah. And Kaden, remember those conversations that we had backstage when you were helping me understand what Tech Week was all about and all the crazy stuff that goes on behind it. I was like, this is insane. And for a while I'm going I don't even know if this production is going to get off the ground. And then it does. So anyways, Kaden, tell me a little bit about what this musical is all about.
Yeah. Well, I like to say it's really just the classic tale of the power of love against the power of death, and it's just exploring that dichotomy and that duality, and it's a really cool spin on that idea, where it's not exactly what you think happens,
Right.
So it's, when you go watch a show and you're like, you know exactly what's going to happen at the end just by the first opening scene. It's not one of those, which is, always love that type of thing. So, I mean,
Keeps you on your toes for sure.
Yeah.
At the edge of
Absolutely.
your seat, you're like,
Absolutely. Yes.
what's gonna happen?
And this morning we're actually in the presence of a god. So Marissa plays. So talk a little bit about your character. You are one of the gods in this show.
Correct.
So talk about your character, and we should also mention. So we have Isabella, who is the peasant girl, right?
Yes.
And then Kaden, describe to me what your character is really quick.
I am a grand homme, a rich Frenchman who basically runs the rich class of the island.
And then, so you guys are the love interest in this story, right?
Yes.
It's like your paths come together, right?
absolutely.
But the path is formed by the gods, right? That's
Exactly.
where Marissa comes in.
Yeah, exactly.
So talk a little bit about what the
Tie it all
gods do and how they try to form this path for these two.
Well, the god's role in this is to just guide Ti-Moon through this whole storyline, make sure she is protected and safe, and using the elements to help her as well. So we have 4 different gods. We have the goddess of earth, which is me, Asaka. We have the god of death. We have god of water, and we have the goddess of love. And each of us individually help create a path for her throughout this entire story. And in doing so, I think we've made a lot of really good friendships in this cast from
Yeah,
it.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Bella, talk a little bit about what it's like for you to be part of this musical, because I mean, I know you. First, I got to say, you're a phenomenal singer. I mean,
Thank
I
you
saw
so much.
I
Thank
saw you
you.
in the Heights in, was it September, October?
October, yeah.
Blew me away. But so talk a little bit about what it's like to to be part of this cast. I mean, the cast is just filled with amazing talent, and to
for
be able
sure.
to tell a story in this sort of way.
It's nerve-wracking because, first of all, going into a musical, you never know which cast you're going to get. You never know how well you're going to bond with them. You never know, like, oh, who's this? Or who's my love interest? Like, am I going to have chemistry with them? So with this cast, I was so blessed to be able to easily create these friendships, and we all bond in such a way that's so natural that it's easy for us to do our job. And I feel like that's one of the main things that makes a show so successful. Like, creating a bond with the rest of your cast members makes a show phenomenal. And I definitely feel like experience also says a lot in what you do. I mean, I've done so many shows throughout the community, and I've been so grateful for every experience that I've got. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Alex. Thank you for allowing us to be here to promote.
How did you get started in theater?
I actually started at the age of 11. This was like in 2018. So
You
not
were
so
11 in 2018?
Yeah, I was.
How does that make you feel?
Feeling pain in my knee right now.
But yeah, I started at the age of 11. I actually started with the Stars Workshops. Actually, I started with High School Musical. It was my very first musical.
Fun fact, I was actually in High School Musical too.
No way!
In junior high, which was probably before you were born. It was 2007.
Well, I was born that year.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
there you go. All right. So, yeah. Anyways,
Anyways, but yeah, that's how I got started. And I have sang my entire life. I've always been a singer. My dad was a singer. I have come from a very musical family. And so when I was introduced to the musical theater, I was like, it was a whole new thing for me because I just knew how to sing and like I had rhythm, but I didn't really know like what the whole thing was about. So when I did it, I was like, whoa, like my eyes open, and I was like, this is what this is my place. This is what I want for my career. This is what I want for my life.
Right.
And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I get to that
Yeah.
dream stage, Broadway. Hello.
Marissa, how did you get started?
I got started originally through church and my grandma, who introduced me to church singing. But in the musical theater community, I didn't actually get very involved until I was in high school, probably sophomore year. And from there, a nerve struck, and I love it now. And I haven't done too many community shows, but I'm still, extending the lookout for those.
Yeah, what is it like for you though to be part of these, productions? And I think what was so fun for me when we were doing Hairspray was not knowing a lot of like the technical side of
Right.
things and how these productions are are put together. You know, I mean, I'm a storyteller as a journalist, right? I get that part of it, but the whole technical side of it, of theater, was very new to me. What is it like for you to have this experience and just kind of get a taste of, you know, these professional level productions?
Right. For myself personally, it's intense. It can be very nerve-wracking. You never know what's really going to happen next. All I can really say is I am very passionate about what I do. And so when I do get casted into these types of shows, thank you, Amy. When I do get casted, I do throw myself into my characters. And I think I connect with Asaka on a different wavelength, being that protector and that like mother to Ti-Moon in a way. It does feel good.
Yeah. Speaking of like the technical aspects of the show, Kaden, I mean, not only are you on stage, I was taking a look at you the other day at one of the tech rehearsals, and you were also coming out in the audience making sure that all the sound was good. You obviously, it's like, I think you're one of the few people who's very proficient in both aspects of this, both on stage and then behind the scenes. Talk a little bit about what goes behind the technical aspect of putting these shows, you know, on. I mean, there's so many people, there's so much brain power that has to come together, has to execute these, you know, big productions that include light, sound, you know, effects and so forth.
That's where I started. My first love has always been music and production and that type of thing. And so when I first got into theater, it was as a tech. I was doing sound. And then randomly one day, a director at my school was like, actually, we want you in it. And I was like, okay, let's do it.
Took a leap of faith and
like,
decided to do that.
Yeah.
Talk about sound, though, because it's more difficult than just like turning up a mic.
Absolutely.
Or, you know, or turning it down and whatnot. I mean, it is. There's all of these technical terms. I heard you talking about it a couple of nights ago, talking about like turn the gain up, turn the gain down, turn the mid. I'm like, this is just jargon that I don't know what that's about. But talk a little bit about how difficult it can be to get the sound right. I mean, spot on.
It's definitely a challenge, especially like as is, you know, I'm on stage. And like during a sound check or whatever, I'll come down and I'll listen and I'll just start throwing terms at our tech Ramiro. But it's definitely a challenge because each individual mic pack has its own frequencies that it really likes or really hates, and so every single mic takes very dedicated practice just to get sounding how we want it.
It's like a tedious process, right?
Very tedious. You know, and then, you know, you also have, you know, Bella doesn't sound the same as Marissa. You know, they sing very differently. And so the way we process Marissa's vocals and Bella's vocals are very different.
Does it kind of remind you of like being in science class and like perfectly balancing the chemicals to make sure things don't explode?
It's very much a math equation over. People generally believe it to be very creative, and it can be, but there's definitely a science to it.
Because you got to be. I mean, you got to be right on, because a little bit here or a little bit there could make a huge difference. Really quick before I let you go, I just want to. I mean, obviously, I got to give Amy Adams a shout out. You know, first, I think we all can, right?
Sure.
So she's the director of this show. She is, of course, just so incredibly talented, so incredibly proficient in this field, in this industry.
Yes.
You know, she reached out to me back in, I think it was like August or something like that. And she approached me on, you know, trying out for Hairspray, and I was, you know, skeptical, and says, "I'll work with you." And now I'm like, I love it. It was so much fun. We all have kind of similar stories with Amy in the sense of her encouraging, you know, the community to come out. We just happen to be caught in the web, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, the whole idea is, you know, she wants this to be a community theater for the community, by the community.
Right.
So talk a little bit about what it's been like again, now that you're all part of the production with her once again. what it's like to just see her passion and how that translates to, to the rest of the cast and the community.
Yeah. Yeah, Amy's Amy. There's no one like Amy.
That is very true. I got tests.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very much, and she gives all the days a different name. She call it.
Yes, Wednesday. Yeah.
Gotta love that alliteration.
Yeah.
So she warns us the day before on which days are going to be easy versus hard, which is great. But we'll walk in, we're all coming from different places, work or school or, whatever, and right away she'll greet you with a hug, tell you you're doing amazing, and
then grill you at the same time.
And then one little mistake and
yeah, exactly.
What's her saying? Something jive.
I have no idea.
No idea. I'm not gonna lie
That's
to
just
you.
something that you've heard.
Yeah, Amy has a word for letting go of your day's emotions and truly coming into your character as your character, and not letting if you had a bad day, not letting your bad day affect how you're going to perform.
So 5 and jive. That's
Five and jive. There you go.
Yeah. So Bella, talk a little bit about what it's been like for you to, because Amy, of course, she is one of the lead organizers for the Phil Brandt, for the STARS organization.
Yes.
What is it like for you though to be able to work with her?
This is my very first time working with Amy Adams. I have heard her name around, and I was like, okay, that sounds amazing, but I've never had the pleasure of working with her myself. And so when this opportunity came up, she called me. I was like, oh my gosh, is this actually her? I'm like, okay, hey, what's going on? And she's the sweetest soul. I definitely feel like she knows what she's doing. She's there to work, and she's very stern, which I also do appreciate as well, because you
There's some
need
structure.
you need that foundation
Yeah.
to be able to put on a production such
For
as
sure.
this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so she's been a wonder. So
Yeah.
I'm very, very grateful.
Really quick, before I let you go, I just want to get your message to other people in the community who, I was there just not even a year ago. No experience whatsoever in theater, in music. You got to get your start at some point.
Oh, yeah.
What is your message to the community about just kind of getting started and finding your interest in theater?
Yeah, I have a lot of people tell me, hey, I really want to do this, but I just don't know how to do it, or I'm just too scared. And I give them sources. We have workshops, we have things you can sign yourself up to. There's programs all over the town that people don't really know of because it's not really talked about. But STARS usually has workshops. I know the Gaslight Melodrama has workshops. Put yourself out there, no matter how, I can't do it. You can. You quite literally can, you.
Again,
An example,
right here.
Everyone can do it, and I want to say, just go for it. Strive for your passion. There's many, many, many sources. Come to me if you have any questions. Y'all know where I am.
Yeah.
And
Well, we know where you're going to be tonight. We know where the three of you are going to be tonight at the Phil Brandt STARS production of Once on This Island. Kicks off tonight, and tickets, of course, are on sale. You can go to bmtstars.com to get those tickets. Once on This Island will run select nights through the end of this month. And before we go, really quick, I know it's going to be a hard question. Favorite song, favorite moment of the musical? Go.
Oh my gosh. Mama Will Provide.
Mama Will provide.
Mama will provide.
All right. That's something to look forward to. All right. Thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it. Really quick, we're going to talk a little bit about what happens on March 7th. So today, of course, it's Friday, March 7th. But let's take a look back at some of the things that happened on this day in history.
Today is March 7th, and it's National Cereal Day. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell received a patent for the telephone. Comedian and actress Wanda Sykes was born. And boxer Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight to acquire the World Boxing Association Championship belt when he defeated James Smith in 12 rounds. During this Women's History Month, we recognize Kathryn Bigelow, who became the first woman to win an Academy Award for Best Director in 2010 for The Hurt Locker. And in 2016, Peyton Manning announced his retirement from the Denver Broncos and the NFL.
All right, so we are here in the 17 newsroom. We're actually getting ready for a cut-in that's going to air on KGET on during the Today Show right now. As you probably know, we do these cut-ins every single day, every half hour after we sign off 17 News at sunrise. So what's happening right now is we are getting ready. We're kind of like transitioning into getting ready for that cut-in. I want to just take you into the control room right now because this kind of gives you an idea of what is happening as we transition to the KGET Today Show cut-in. Kevin Charette is going to be doing this cut-in for us here. And you can see basically the control center here. This is exactly, this is where all the magic happens. You got our director right now. I don't want to bother him too much, but he is getting ready to direct this cut in here. That again is going to air on KGET right now. We've got our producer Kaylee. She is our Sunrise producer. But I just want to kind of give you a behind-the-scenes look at what this all looks like, because as you can imagine, so much has to happen behind the scenes in order for these sorts of things to get off the ground and onto your TV. So we are getting ready to go, and we have, let's see, I think, how much time do we have?
We're on in 10 seconds.
So you can see the countdown
15
right
seconds
there.
actually now. 7:27. All right.
So again, this is kind of a look, and then I'll let you take a look at this cut-in here. That again is going to be airing on KGET. Because this is what we call a Today Show cut-in. So let's take a look. Here's a behind-the-scenes look. You can actually kind of follow along, if you will, on TV and online.
Here we go.
Working in the spirit of
So this is our preview monitor here, and this is what is actually airing on TV.
Cue.
Good morning, Curtin County. It is all about the Girl Scouts today here at Compassion Corner. We started at 5 a.m. The Girl Scouts still here. We've got the tables set up, and they will be set up all day until 6 o'clock tonight. Today's a big fundraiser. I know we see them outside the supermarkets, outside the gas stations, but today is a big day because we're hoping that we can exceed the number of boxes that we sold last year at our drive, which was
So
just
again,
over 1,000
you can see that Cookies for a Cause
boxes.
graphic. That is the preview monitor, so our director has not taken that on air yet, but he's going to get ready to fire that graphic up for our audience who's watching on Channel 17.
Be part of the organization, all of the activities they get to do, the skills that they learn, and that's what's so important to these organizations.
30 seconds.
And the Girl Scouts are one of them. You can come on down, you can get your
By the way,
box. They have all
there's
the
our-
varieties here today.
here's our information
And,
for our
you can
Cookies
also
for a
sit
Cause
by,
fundraiser.
free ones for
So this is like a
$7.
prompter
But more
right here.
importantly,
This is our
you get
prompter.
to help out a good nonprofit that supports our community.
So again,
we've
that
got a
graphic is
drive-thru
on
set
air
up.
right
You just
now.
come through,
There's Kevin's
tell the
preview
Girl Scouts what
monitor.
you want, and then you're on your way. And as you can see, the sun is
10
coming out.
seconds.
We're looking at a beautiful day. Starting out with a little bit of cloud cover, but then clearing out, and a weekend is looking great with those
5,
temperatures back in the 70s.
4,
In fact, on Sunday,
3.
it'll be right near 77. Hope to see you out here today.
So they were off air at 7:28:45. So again, that's just kind of a look at kind of the behind the scenes of even just putting a cut in. Well, how long was that cut in, Jesus?
A minute 50 seconds.
So that was a minute 50-second cut in. That just kind of gives you a little behind the scenes look at what it takes to put those things on. So again, appreciate you tuning in to the 17 News After Sunrise broadcast. Of course, there's so much on our website, kget.com. This has kind of been a fun show for us to do after sunrise, and we hope that you will join us in the days and months to come. So I will leave you with one more shot at the behind the scenes look. They can see themselves on that monitor. Matter of fact, I'm going to zoom in right there. You can see that's exactly what it looks like right there. All right, thanks so much for tuning in to 17 News After Sunrise. Again, we've got more on our website, kget.com. Have a great weekend, everyone. Make it a great weekend, and we will see you back here Monday morning after sunrise at 7 a.m.